My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. I'm going to break down the entire UFC Vegas 78 fight card, giving you my picks, my predictions, and my DraftKings plays. But before I do that, let's take a look at the wild success that our premium members have had over the last few months. This isn't the last 6 years. This isn't since we start. This is the last couple of months. $189,000 in DraftKings winnings. And this is only from premium members. And then it's only from premium members that took the time to reach out, tag us, send it to us, post it in the winning tickets in the Discord. It's absolutely amazing what these people have been able to do. This is not an accident. It is not a coincidence that our premium members who have access to all the tools, all the insight, all the information have managed to put up $189,000 in winning DraftKings tickets in the last couple of months. That's not a coincidence. Nobody else out there has a community doing this. Nobody. You find somebody that can produce these kind of tickets month in and month out, you let me know. It's not going to happen. We have a $78,000 get, a $50,000 get, a whole bunch of 2s and 3s, a $10,000, a $13,000. We have a $29,000 get. That was from UFC 291 freaking 2 weeks ago. It is absolutely amazing what they are doing. Join the premium members. Be like them. It's only $10 a month. You're going to get everything you could ever imagine in general, and then a lot of stuff specific to DraftKings. Just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. $10 unlocks the world. DraftKings specifically, you're going to get full access to our detailed breakdowns and plays. Each one of these tabs breaks down who should be in your cash core lineup and why. Who should be in your GPP lineup and why. Who should be the live dogs that you can consider throwing in and out of lineups and why. We do full breakdowns for every single one of your contest types. This cheat sheet is populated every single Friday after weigh-ins. And then you're also going to get rankings of every single fighter on the card by salary. Then you can have all that information and you can use it with the lineup optimizer. This will literally build lineups for you. It'll build up to 150 different lineups for you. It'll be pre-populated with the ownership projections and the scoring projections. The ownership projections are the best ownership projections in this space. That's not an exaggeration. It's not a sales pitch. It's a straight up fact. Our margin of error is tiny. And you compare that to the giant companies like the Awesomos of the world, the Roto Grinders of the world. It's not even close. We beat them week in and week out. And if we're not in first, we're in second. And then back to first. And then second. And then back to first. And anybody, when we're in second place, whoever has the best, whoever's in first, it's not the same company week in and week out. Meaning we're the most consistent. We have the best ownership projections. And that's what makes our optimizer better than other optimizers, because it's only as good as the data that's in it. WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. It's $10 a month. You're going to get all of this for DraftKings, all the exact same stuff for FanDuel. You're going to get bets. You're going to get picks. You're going to get other analysts. You're going to get prop stuff. It's absolutely amazing, everything that you're going to get. Only $10 a month. Let's go ahead and break down this card. So we do have 13 fights on this card. A couple of short notice step-ups, but they do have pricing assigned to them. So let's go ahead and break it down. We'll start at the bottom, work our way to the top. We got Luana Santos, UFC debut. No data here. She's opening up the card versus Juliana Miller. Luana Santos is a judo black belt. She's been doing it her entire life. She'll strike as well. She'll come forward, she'll bomb, she'll strike. But then as soon as there's some distance closed, she'll grab the head, grab the arm, boom, judo toss. Work her leg inside, boom, judo trip. When it hits the ground, she's going to hold those positions. She's going to look for submissions. She can scramble. She can stay there as well. I think Luana Santos wins this fight. I think $8,300 is a decent price for a woman that I think is going to get a whole bunch of takedowns in a fight that probably goes the distance. Takedowns and control time score better than any other sort of individual thing that you can do in DraftKings in MMA. So I like Luana Santos at $8,300, but let's look at her opponent, Juliana Miller. Juliana Miller is all guts. She's going to come forward. She is not going to stop. She's just going to keep coming forward, keep throwing hands, keep working for takedowns. She's never going to quit, no matter how bad things are going for her. This fight with Victoria Hardy, she had nothing to offer outside of guts. She'd throw up a couple of Hail Mary submissions that went nowhere. But I guess the point being that Juliana Miller is not going to quit in this fight or any other fight. But I don't think she has the skill set. She's got 5 professional fights. I don't know why this is showing 6. Maybe it's including the Ultimate Fighter. She's got 5 professional fights. And I just don't see how she's going to win this one, right? She can be gutsy. She can come forward. She can stay tough. But the reality is, skill for skill, Luana Santos is the more skilled fighter. Juliana Miller is just too young, too raw, and I don't think she's going to be able to grit her way to a win. She was able to do that against Brogan Walker. She was not able to do that against Victoria Hardy because Victoria Hardy actually had some skills, and I think Luana Santos does as well. So I like Luana Santos at $8,300. Then we have Damon Blackshear versus Jose Johnson. Damon Blackshear was on this card, lost his opponent. Now he has a new opponent. So he's the established fighter here. $8,600, frankly, that's a good price point. His betting line opened up at minus 350, which means he was a 3-1 favorite. He's now sitting at minus 260, so, less than a 3-1 favorite, more than a 2-1 favorite, if you want to look at it that way. Damon Blackshear is an athletic striker. He can also wrestle. He can also grappler. He's grapple. He's fast. He hits hard. He's got clean takedowns. He's 1-1-1 in the UFC. This draw was very, very impressive. Very impressive what he's able to do to make that fight a draw. The loss against Farid Bajarat was also impressive. He was down rounds. Third round, his corner's like, you need to do this, blah, blah, blah. And he went out there. He listened to his corner. He did exactly that. Yes, he lost the fight, but he was supposed to. $7,100 fighter. He made that a lot closer. It was super impressive. This next fight out against Lacerda, I bet on him as the underdog. I'm like, this kid is good. He's very good. Look at the loss. Look at his first UFC fight. He's very, very good. He went out there. He got it done. He won by stoppage after a takedown, a nice scramble there, and then a bunch of strikes. I think he wins this fight as well. I also like that $8,600 price point. He is taking on Jose Johnson. Jose Johnson's stepping up on short notice. He's had a couple of UFC fights that were booked but never actually came to fruition. This might be one of them. Filming this before the weigh-ins. This dude's a big dude. He might have issues making that weight. But anyway, he's a long Muay Thai striker. He uses his length really well. He likes to come forward. He wants to control the center. He's got speed. He'll use teep kicks, clinch work, traditional boxing to sort of touch people up and try to control the distance. He does not have takedown defense. And I think that's the problem here. He does have some jiu-jitsu, but I don't think he's going to be able to defend the takedowns of Blackshear. It's a short notice step up. It's officially a UFC debut. As soon as he got the call for this fight, this dude's like trying to lose weight as quickly as possible. So I like Damon Blackshear. I like that price point. I think he gets it done. Then we have Jaqueline Amorim taking on Montserrat Ruiz. Here's the thing with Jaqueline Amorim. She is very good. She's very good. She's got slick grappling. She'll shoot blast doubles. She's got great submissions. She's got good hands with very real power. She does not have cardio. She's got like no cardio whatsoever. If you could somehow have negative cardio, she would have that. She's got 2 minutes of glory and then nothing else. And that's what happened in the Sam Hughes fight. She lost. Sam Hughes is tough as hell. Jaqueline Amorim looked like a world champion in the first round and then had nothing left for rounds 2 and rounds 3. And that's the problem here. It was clear in that first round, though, that she's got great takedowns, great BJJ. But she doesn't have cardio. She's a $9,100 fighter without cardio. And what becomes interesting is she's taking on Montserrat Ruiz. Caneo is like a nickname, so Montserrat Caneo is how they have her listed here. She's a national wrestling champion. She is very, very tough, and she will grind. She will come forward. She will just continue to use her wrestling. I don't love her wrestling. It's a lot of side headlocks, which I hate. But she will continue to come forward and she will continue to grind and get those takedowns. She's not a quitter. She is very tough. She's a lot tougher than this like 20-second knockout or whatever this was. She came charging forward. Amanda Lemos blasted her, and then that was the end of it. Yes, Jaqueline Amorim also has that fight-ending power. I just don't see that happening. We're 2 years removed from that. She's training with Alexa Grasso. She's training with Luque. She's training with like that crew of phenomenal women down in Mexico. And she's got this incredible wrestling in her back pocket. I do think she can win this fight. Obviously, overall, Jaqueline Amorim's the better fighter. Her takedowns are probably better, even though she's not the wrestling champion. Her jiu-jitsu is going to be better. Her hands are going to be better. But she has no cardio. I think fading Jaqueline Amorim is the way to go because I just don't know if she's going to be able to put up those kind of numbers. If she doesn't get an early stoppage, she's got nothing left. That's what Sam Hughes just did to her. $7,100 is actually an affordable price point for a woman who put up 103 points against Cheyenne Bays or Cheyenne Vlismas. Bays at the time, Vlismas now. So Caneo, Ruiz, whatever you want to use her last name or whichever last name you want to use, probably decent at $7,100. If you don't want to shoot that shot, I totally get it. 2-year layoff, was just knocked out unconscious quickly in her last fight. But the reality is, if she can weather the early storm, she could be a great, great person in your lineup. Then we have Josh Parisian taking on Martin Buday. Josh Parisian, fade both of these guys. Neither one of these guys should be in your lineup. You can skip to the next fight if you'd like, but let me tell you why. Josh Parisian is just a busy striker. He has no real power. He does have 10 stoppages if you look at his record, but the reality is he doesn't have this big one punch, put you out, heavyweight type power. He's a volume guy. He's going to come forward, throw a whole bunch of significant strikes, and then just try to wear you down over time and most likely go to a decision if you're tough. That's what he has to offer. He'll work in the occasional takedown, right? He took down Pogues. He was also taken down 5 times, but he took down Pogues, took down Buday, took down Martinez, Roque Martinez in that fight. Josh Parisian's decent, a lot better than people are giving him credit for, but the reality is he's just a body with busy hands that's going to keep coming forward. He's taking on Martin Buday. Martin Buday is very good. This guy's 12-1, undefeated in the UFC. It is all decisions. He's just another volume striker. Before the UFC, he's finishing people left and right, just nonstop finishes. Because he is powerful. He is fast. He can be athletic. And he is a striker. But in the UFC, we've just seen a lot of volume from him. He's coming forward, trying to make stuff happen. This Bresky fight, he looked like dog shit. He looked terrible in this Bresky fight. Just straight up terrible. He did come back. He broke Barnett. That was great. He did come back, and then the Collier fight, he looked more himself. I think this fight looks like the Collier fight, which is not great scoring-wise in DraftKings. He barely covered his $8,000 salary. I don't think he's going to cover his $8,800 salary. So while I do think Martin Buday wins this fight, I'm not going to spend the $8,800 on him. Then we have Francis Marshall and Isaac Dulgarian. Francis Marshall, $8,500. He's a talented fighter. He's a heavy-handed guy, mostly a grappler. He's going to come forward, throw the power. He's got some nice speed, and he's going to set up some good old-fashioned double-leg, single-leg takedowns. Nut trips, nothing sloppy, nice, clean takedowns. He's got plenty of energy, a nice long jab, and he'll use that striking to bait you into a striking match. Once you're comfortable striking with him, he's going to shoot. He's going to work from there. He is coming off the loss to William Gomez. He could not get his grappling going till the very end of the fight. Once he did get it going, that dude he was this close from winning by submission. He lost 2 rounds very clearly and then was this close to winning by submission. And what that tells me is he doesn't quit on himself. That was late in the fight, and he was still going out there, still trying to get it done. He doesn't quit on himself. He's not going to break. He's going to keep coming forward. That is the only reason that I'm slightly favoring him in this matchup. He's taking on Isaac Dulgarian. Isaac Dulgarian is a legitimate prospect. He's a very good wrestler. He's transitioned to MMA. He's 5-0 with 5 stoppages. The big question mark is how good is he, though? While he looks amazing in his 5 fights already, those are against sort of Midwest regional guys that aren't going to make it to the UFC. So we don't know if Isaac Dulgarian looks like a beast because he's fighting these people, or if he looks phenomenal because he is phenomenal. There's a lot of unknowns here. I do think Isaac Dulgarian needs to be in some of your GPP lineups, the big, large field tournaments. I think he needs to be in there because if this dude wins, you're going to get him at a discount, $7,700. He's going to put up some giant numbers. Some giant numbers because that's what he's doing. He's taking people down almost immediately, and he's getting on top full mount, raining down elbows until the referee stops. And that's going to score really well if he's able to do that. I know Francis Marshall is tough. I've seen Francis Marshall come from behind, almost squeak out a win, but not quit on himself. I'm not drafting Francis Marshall. Isaac Dulgarian, I may draft because I think the upside is a lot better than the downside. Downside is he kind of sucks, gets taken down, doesn't know what to do off his back because he's all hammer, no nail. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but if he is able to get a takedown, he is able to get his game plan going, he's going to score really, really well. $7,700 is definitely a consideration for a cash lineup, but a must for at least a few of your GPP lineups. Then we got Terrance McKinney taking on Mike Breeden. Short notice fight for Terrance McKinney. Just lost 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, Sadikov beat him. But he put up 23 points because he had 2 takedowns, almost a full round of control time, only 6 significant strikes. He didn't throw hands. He wrestled heavy, and that is the only reason I think he could win this fight because he's going to wrestle heavy. I think he's going to come forward, immediately start shooting takedowns, immediately trying to work for control, immediately trying to get things done. I love that he didn't strike in his last fight. I love that his game plan was all grappling because I think that's what he needs to do in this fight. $9,200 though, I'm not going to spend $9,200 on a dude that has been finished in 3 of his last 4 fights. I can't do it. And I don't think you should either. He's taking on Mike Breeden. While Mike Breeden is winless in the UFC, this guy's got solid get-up game. He's a good scrambler. He's going to come forward. He sets a pretty good pace. The get-up game, I want to continue to emphasize that because you only see this side of the stats. Natan Levy took him down 9 times. So this is a guy who was taken down 9 times, and he still put up 62 points in a loss. If Terrance McKinney gets 9 takedowns, he's going to gas. He doesn't have the cardio to compete for that long, not at that heavy of a wrestling pace. Mike Breeden does have some power in his hands. Not enough like late in the fight, but early in the fight, he's got good power in his hands. He's always throwing something. He's staying busy. This guy landed 104 significant strikes in a fight where he was on his back a good amount. He pops right back up. He never quits. $7,000. I like Mike Breeden. I'll probably spend him, probably have him in my lineup. I'll probably spend that money. I do think that Terrance McKinney probably wins this fight, especially if he comes out with that wrestle heavy game plan, but Mike Breeden should be the one in your lineup. Have Terrance McKinney in some of your GPPs for sure, because if Terrance McKinney scores, wins, he's going to score really well. Mike Breeden, same thing. If he wins, he should score really well because Terrance McKinney can't get to a decision to save his life. But I prefer Mike Breeden at 7,000 than Terrance McKinney in the 9s. That's for sure. Marcus McGhee taking on JP Bays. Marcus McGhee might be the hardest hitter in this division. The guy's going to come forward. He's going to just lay down a sledgehammer fist, and he's going to try to get that finish. He beat Journey Newsom on short notice. This dude stepped up against a pretty good fighter on short notice, defended the takedowns, knocked him down, got the finish, and he did that in the second round, which I'd love to see. If he did it in the first round, if he did it in 5 seconds, you don't really know how good is he. How good is he not, right? You don't know a lot. The fact that it made it to the second round, he defended takedowns. He looked good the entire fight and then won by finish. I love it. He's one of my most confident picks on this card. What is worrisome is JP Bays is a phenomenal wrestler. Yes, he's 0-3 in the UFC. Yes, he's been finished twice, but he's a phenomenal wrestler. He fought Montel Jackson. He took Montel Jackson down, defended some takedowns, looked decent in that fight. Montel Jackson was like, I don't know how far the Olympic aspirations went. I know he was there training at the Olympic Training Center. I don't know if that meant he actually had a shot or just had an invite because he was good. But the reality is JP Bays is a very, very, very good wrestler. Striking, not great. Chin, gone. Wrestling, he's a very good wrestler. And if we get Marcus McKee coming across a little aggressive, a little too early, throwing bombs, running forward, JP Bays could get some takedowns, could get some control time. We have seen Marcus fight later in the fight, so I think it's probably fine. But Marcus McGhee, my most confident pick on this card, but JP Bays is a very good wrestler. Not good enough to throw in my cash lineups. Then we have Josh Fremd, Jamie Pickett, my second most confident fighter on this card. Is Josh Fremd a phenomenal fighter? No. Is he a $9,400 fighter? No. I mean, the fact that Trayshawn Gore submitted him is not a good look. But if you watch that fight, he came forward, shot a takedown, kept his head on the outside, and he got submitted. That was a mistake, and he paid for it. Josh Fremd is an athletic guy. He's a young kid. He's evolving at a great pace. He's better every single fight, and he looks good. He looks genuinely good in a lot of these fights, even when he's losing. It is a little scary to spend $9,400 on this guy, but I can trust him to wrestle. That's what he did against Dumas. Came forward, got the takedowns, plenty of control time. Yes, Dumas kind of sucks, has no ground. He's a street fighter that really had nothing to offer in that fight. But Josh Fremd, if he's going to stick to this game plan, the one he had against Dumas, if he comes forward, gets the takedowns, he's going to absolutely win this fight because he's taking on Jamie Pickett. Jamie Pickett can be taken down. We've seen him get taken down time and time again. We've seen him get finished because he's taken down. And I just think that's what's going to happen here. While Jamie Pickett is a long, tall striker, he's much better than people are giving him credit for. Styles make fights. I think he's taken down. I think he's submitted. Let's just ignore the Bo Nickel fight, right? He's right now the best active wrestler in the UFC. This was inevitable, right? This is what was going to happen. But if we look at the Tululin fight, if we look at the Daukaus fight, these are all very similar things. And I think he's going to be taken down. I think he's going to be controlled, potentially submitted. I can trust Josh Fremd to grow, to improve, fight in and fight out because he's just that kind of guy. Jamie Pickett, I don't know what he did to piss the UFC off. He did him a huge favor by fighting Bo Nickel. And then they said, here's a young prospect that we're trying to push. I do think Josh Fremd gets it done. Then we have AJ Dobson, Tafon Nchukwi. I like AJ Dobson here, and I think he could do really well for you in a lineup. Yes, he's winless in the UFC so far, but AJ Dobson is a very good fighter. AJ Dobson can grapple. AJ Dobson can strike. He's incredibly fast with his hands. He'll throw knees. He'll throw kicks. He's not gun shy. He will throw in combinations. And he's going to move forward the whole time, and then he's going to mix in some takedowns. He took down Armen Petrosian 3 times. He was a little gun-shy in that fight, but Armen Petrosian is, like, the volume that he threw out there was incredible, and AJ just couldn't find a rhythm, right? If he stayed busy, he kept his hands in AJ's face. AJ really couldn't find a rhythm with the striking, so he went to the wrestling. Still put up 41 points in a loss. AJ's the underdog here because he is fighting a very scary striker. Tafon Nchukwi has power in his hands. Tafon Nchukwi's going to throw. Tafon Nchukwi is a very, very clean striker. The biggest issue with him is he's low volume. He doesn't really let his hands go that often. He'll wait. He'll throw a little bit. Wait, throw a little bit. He does have takedowns, right? He took down Rodriguez 3 times. That's why he won that fight. He took down Park once. But he did bounce. He's a middleweight. He said, it's too hard to cut weight. I'm too big. Moved up to light heavyweight. Coming off 2 knockout losses in a row. He's like, maybe I should go back down to middleweight. The problem is you left middleweight because the weight cut was too hard. Nothing's changed. It's still going to be too hard. I like AJ Dobson here, especially if he's going to work in some takedowns, especially if he's going to, come forward with the pace, with pressure. Tafon Nchukwi, very good striker. We haven't seen that one-punch knockout power just yet, so hopefully we don't see it in this fight because I do like AJ Dobson here. Then we have Eisman Lucindo taking on Polyana Viana. Eisman Lucindo, she's a grappler. I think she's a grappler. Jacob's like, she's a striker. I think she's a grappler. She had 4 takedowns in that last fight against Brogan Walker when she was lighting her up on her feet, and then still went to the wrestling. I think she does want to grapple ultimately, even though she's a very good striker. She's going to use her power. She's going to clinch you. She's going to drag you to the ground. Once she gets you there, she's going to transition to positions, control them, and then work for a submission. Her striking is just okay, but she is going to come forward. She's going to counter when you throw at her. She's going to get comfortable in that striking rhythm, and then she's going to start to wrestle. I do think she's going to win this fight. She's taking on Polyana Viana. Polyana Viana is a very sneaky, good jiu-jitsu practitioner, I guess, girl. She has very good jiu-jitsu. She can submit you off of her back. If you take her down, she can throw things up and then get it done. She's very, very slick, and you have to be very careful if you're going to grapple with her. And what's more impressive is she's coming off a knockout win. This wasn't a takedown grapple knockout win. On her feet, standing, dropped Chin Fry, and then got it done. Her hands look good. They look fast. They were absolutely incredible. Here's the problem with Polyana Viana. Her takedowns suck. Her takedown defense sucks. So in order for her to be submitting people, she has to be the one taken down. Eisman Lucindo will probably take her down, but I think Eisman's jiu-jitsu is good enough to stay out of danger, and frankly, she doesn't need to take her down. She should be the better striker. I like Eisman Lucindo here, but I'm not going to draft her because Polyana Viana is very, very tough. She's very tough, and I think she'll just, this will be a decision loss if she loses. If she wins, it'll be a wild submission, and she'll put up some good points. Polyana Viana, you should have some large field tournament entries with her in it because the upside to her is tremendous. I don't think it's going to hit. She's definitely not safe for a cash, at least not in the underdog spot. But I do think for a GPP, you should have her. But I am going to fade Eisman Lucindo in all contests because I think if she wins, it's just going to be a decision. I don't know how well she will score. Khalil Rountree, Chris Daukaus. This is going to be an interesting fight. This is at middleweight or at light heavyweight. Khalil Rountree, former middleweight, who's moved up to light heavyweight. Chris Daukaus, heavyweight, who's moved down to light heavyweight. Khalil Rountree is a very good striker. He's fast. He's powerful. He does a good job lighting up your legs, going to the body. And when he flows, he looks incredible. But he has some odd performances where he didn't throw. He didn't do what he was supposed to do. But I do think Khalil Rountree is going to win this fight. I will say his last fight against Dustin Jacoby, I think he lost that fight. I don't think he won that fight. I didn't think he looked very good. I was surprised that he was awarded that decision. But he's got good Muay Thai striking. He'll light up your legs. He's got some power on his feet. And I think he can withstand whatever power comes his way. We have seen him knocked out in the past, but Johnny Walker's absolutely no joke. Kutalaba, we know that guy has thunder. We know he has thunder. The rest of these, are quality, if you will. This is going to be a striking match. He's taking on Chris Daukaus. Chris Daukaus has some pretty good boxing. Jacob laughed at me when I said that last time, but Chris Daukaus has some pretty good boxing and a BJJ black belt. The problem is I don't think he has any wrestling at all. We haven't seen it. We haven't seen him get takedowns. We haven't seen him attempt takedowns. We haven't seen him taken down either. Chris Daukaus does have a BJJ black belt. He probably wants this fight on the ground, but he's been at heavyweight. He's been trying to throw leather with the big boys, and he was knocked out 3 fights in a row and said, let me make some life changes here. Now he's down at light heavyweight. The problem is his style doesn't matter if he's big or not. So he's going to be the bigger fighter here, but he doesn't lean on you. He doesn't lay on you. He doesn't try to get takedowns. So his size means nothing. He's going to be the slower fighter in this matchup. I think Khalil Rountree will touch him up. I think Khalil Rountree will get him. I think you could probably draft Khalil Rountree because Chris Daukaus gets knocked out. And I don't think this is going to be much different. Then we have the co-main event of the evening, Hakeem Dawodu taking on Cub Swanson. You're probably safe. I hate to say it. You're probably safe to draft Hakeem Dawodu. You're probably safe to do it. This dude has good power, good speed. He's incredibly explosive, and he is fighting a 39-year-old guy. I don't think I'm going to draft him because I think there's some other price points I like a little better. But, I mean, look what he's doing. Look at these strike numbers. These are decent numbers. And while these decision wins aren't scoring that well because there's not really takedowns, there's not really knockdowns or anything like that, the problem is these fights were against appropriately aged people. All right. Yeah, he beat Mike Trezano, actually put up some real numbers there because he hit a rhythm. He looked phenomenal. He did lose to Juliana because he was taken down over and over and over again. He's fighting Cub Swanson. Cub Swanson is 39 years old, I believe. Cub Swanson has been through the depths of hell and back. This guy has been in wars. He has been fighting forever. I can scroll for 20 minutes and still barely get to the bottom. And yes, he's incredible. Look at this win streak here. Look at all these stoppages. These are 10 years ago. 10 years ago. If we scroll up a little more recently, Jonathan Martinez blew his leg out. I mean, he just beat up Cub's leg so bad that fight was over. He did knock out Darren Elkins, who's also old and chinny. Chikadze beat him with body kicks. I mean, the problem for Cub Swanson is he is a little older. He's a little slower. He's starting to show that age. I'm not going to draft Cub Swanson. He is a tried and true vet. He might be able to get this fight to the distance. If he does, then Dawodu is not worth the money. But I just don't see that happening. He hasn't seen a scorecard in 4 years, and that was against a nerd. A straight-up nerd. So I just don't know if he's going to be able to survive what should be the speed, the power of Dawodu, especially if Dawodu lights up his legs, which he can do. So I'm going to leave both of them out. The upside of Dawodu is he could potentially win by finish. And then we have the main event of the evening, Rafael Dos Anjos versus Vicente Luque. Pick your side. Dos Anjos, slight favorite here. Slight favorite on this betting books as well, sports books. Pick your side in this fight. I think you do need a side. Because if Luque wins, he'll score really well. He'll probably win by finish. If Rafael Dos Anjos wins, I think he'll get a bunch of takedowns. It'll look something like the Barberena fight. Maybe with the finish, maybe without. But we have 5 rounds of takedowns to work with. Look at these 2 fights. Moicano, 155 points. Felder, 135 points. I think this fight looks like one of those. I will have Dos Anjos in my lineup. 5 takedowns, 6 takedowns. 2 against Fiziev before he was finished. But Fiziev has phenomenal takedown defense. And then 4 against Barberena, and that was just in 2 rounds before he got the finish. He is fighting Vicente Luque. Vicente Luque looked phenomenal. In this 4-fight stretch, everybody's talking about this guy should be ranked in the world. This guy's incredible. But the Chiesa win, he was losing. and then caught him in a scramble. The Woodley win, that was Woodley, his last fight before getting cut. Yeah, Woodley came out fast, but he got that done. The Brown win, as tough as he is, as great as that guy is he really world class? And then Nico Price, okay. So I guess my point is, I think Vicente Luque has been a little overrated for a little bit. He does have nice striking, he does have nice jiu-jitsu, and he does have some solid MMA skills, meaning he ties it all together. He's not one-dimensional. He's probably the more well-rounded fighter in this matchup, but I don't think he's going to be able to defend the takedowns. Bilal Muhammad took him down, I think, 167 times, and I think this fight's going to look like that. I think he's just going to get taken down over and over and over again. He'll be the bigger fighter. Vicente will be the bigger fighter in this matchup. I don't think it's going to matter necessarily. Rafael dos Anjos is going to be in my lineup. You should pick one of these fighters, right? Don't let me sway you. If you think Vicente's going to dominate, then throw him in your lineup. I'm on the other side. Guys, become a premium member. Just look at these tickets. Look at these tickets. $189,000 in the last couple of months from premium members only. WeWantPicks.com. It's only $10 a month. You're going to get our full breakdowns. You're going to get the cheat sheets. You're going to get data analytics. You're going to get insight. And you're also going to get the DraftKings Optimizer. The Optimizer alone is worth way more than $10 a month because it's going to be preloaded with the best ownership and the best scoring projections in the game. This exact same Optimizer from somebody else is not the same Optimizer because it's not going to be preloaded with the good information. It's going to be preloaded with whatever they copy and pasted from somebody else. We build our own ownership projections. I pay a guy to calculate this stuff and then put it up, and that's why we have the best ones in the world, period, end of story. True statement. WeWantPicks.com. Click, become a member. It is only $10 a month.